yeah. Requirements for this one. Grab a pen and paper. Not for real. Like, you hear that, it sounds sexy. Grab a fucking pen and paper. Like, there's gonna be so much to cover. He's done so much. You're gonna think he's 75 and the man looks better than your dad. Like, I'm trying to tell you right now. Incredible human being with an incredible story. And he came all the way from LA. Tune in for this one.
My God. Good to see you, baby. I'm good. Fucking strong motherfucker.
How you? Ooh, this is gonna be crazy. This was gonna be fucking crazy.
I love it. Dope.
First of all, everybody feet in here smell like shit. So when we start on this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have another special episode. This is a man here who's been, I think, a role model to many for a very long time. Honorable, you know, in what he does, how he does it, and a true leader in so many ways. The man has done things that when you're a kid, you aspire to do. Air Force, own property, be an entrepreneur, and much more. So I layered some things there for you, but there's so much depth we're going to go into. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Masud Dorsett in the building, all the way from Los Angeles, California. How you feeling, my boy?
I'm nervous.
I love it.
My first podcast,
Yes,
so I'm
sir.
nervous.
Yes, sir.
But I'm good. I'm good. I'm here in Brooklyn. I'm here in the city, rather, with you, the Bronx.
In the BX.
The Boogie Down Bronx. Appreciate the invite.
Sure, bro. This all came from a baby shot, honestly. You know, the random and the sporadic ones, I think, are the ones that end up doing something special. You know, who is at the baby. Jen, we love you. You know, shout out to Jen. Leo, having a baby. And I looked at you and said, oh, how long you in town? It was like,
just yesterday. It wasn't even 24 hours ago.
Wasn't even 24 hours.
And now I'm here on the podcast.
I'm like, yeah, how long you in town? All right, so what I tend to do is, before we get into everything you've been doing, guys, I honestly don't know too much details of how's going on his business right now, in trucking, etc. So we're going to go get that together. But what I do know is how we met.
Yes, I know how to. Let's see how good your memory is.
Watch this.
All right, let's see.
Watch this. So, boom. Now, here's what I don't remember. I don't know what park we in, but we're definitely in a park, and we're walking. And shout out to Sweets. Sweets, we love you, okay? Sweets comes over to me and goes, Rob, I got this guy on my team. He has so much, but he's not fucking listening. He's just not. Can you just fucking talk to him? I'm like, mind you, I don't know who she's talking about. There's a big dude, there's a big ass dude right next to her as she's saying that. And my response was, I would only because of you.
Right. That I remember, yes.
I told Sweets, I would talk to him only because it's you. Because if you ain't listening to you, this guy's going to be a hard time. And we're at a park. I'm not trying to have this conversation. Masud is asking me questions, and this is what I remember. Did you read the book? Yeah, my memory's fucking on the point. Yeah, stop playing with me. I don't forget. Oh, yeah, but did you actually read the book? And the Masud, I'm not going to lie, looked at me with a look like, I slap shit out you. I will slap fire out you, but.
So it's a little course correct.
Okay, let me give you that.
So the question you asked was, what book are you reading?
There it goes.
What book are you reading? And I didn't know how to answer the question because I wasn't reading no books. But I had to give you an answer. But I had a book. I just hadn't read the book. I remember what the book looked like. I had it. I was like the first
year no marketing.
And I kind of like thought the time was gonna pass. Somebody grabbed your attention, and then so I was like, yeah. So you came back to the book. I'm like,
right.
This mother.
Oh man, that's gonna be so.
I started reading books that day or that weekend or whatever from
that conversation.
After all of the advice to read books, so that was the weekend where.
Wow.
So you're the reason for that. So appreciate you for that.
Appreciate you, bro.
Let's cheers to that, right?
Big.
Yes, sir. Crazy. My personal development started from this guy.
And look, and I would say, I remember, shout out to Sasha Rodriguez. I remember the first time reading a book, or me and a person's reading a book, and we look at each other like, did you just fucking get what I got
Out of that same
out
book.
of this book?
All
Like,
they were talking all of this, and I
was
just read
like,
this
in
book.
the book, or the first time I got handed in. Guys, here's the first thing I want you to understand. This is a man with a background that you would think he don't have to read a book or read tons of books, right? Some things come innate to some people, or they're better listen. Like, they're students in different ways. I didn't know his background. Right. I just knew what it could do. If you're not going to listen to me, see, when you read a book, it's actually the first time you start to listen to yourself. You don't know how the voice that you think about when you read a book, the voices that you're making in your head for it to make sense to you. Like, you have to listen to yourself. Masud didn't want to listen to nobody. Might as well listen to yourself. Mm-hmm. Read the book. To then down the line come in one of the people that, if it was honesty, respect, and just true leadership, I knew I could come to. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah, and it's so crazy because the components that I got out of the book, I felt like those were the struggles that I was going through. And
do you remember those things?
Yeah, just like some of the obstacles, like previously being in network marketing was our career choice, if you will. And, a lot of them were the obstacles that I would have. Family, friends, this, that, and the third. And, obviously it came from discouragement, which prompted my questions for you. And it was like, yo, I read the book. If I hadn't read this book, I wouldn't have asked you those questions. So it was like so many different, even in life, even if you read books about, people or work or this or that, there's so many things that somebody else already experienced that when you go read it, it's like, oh, that makes much sense. And you're not really willing to take the advice from your peers. You need to see it and read it and get it from something biblical, I guess. It's been published, so it means more.
Right.
You said the same shit.
Right.
I'm sorry. Can I curse?
You could curse all you want.
You said the same shit, in the conversation, but
Right.
the book said it, so I gotta listen to the book now.
For sure.
So I think that's where a lot of it came from, and just little things that I probably had already been thinking about or not even knowing that it existed because I was sort of an entrepreneur before I knew I was an entrepreneur. I didn't know that.
We're going to dive into that. So now this is what I want to do. That's how I met Masud.
Yeah.
I didn't get to know Masud that day.
Right.
At that point, you have done things in the past, and I kind of want to go to your background so we kind of circle back to who you are today and how those things led to where you are today. So I mentioned the Air Force. Is that something you always... Tell me what you wanted to do when you were a kid, bro, growing up. What was the 7-year-old Masud saying he was going to be today? And is that 7-year-old Masud still alive today?
A few things I wanted to do. I wanted to fly planes. That was a big thing for me. So that's what my initial college experience was. I went to Oklahoma, and I started flying planes. So that's really where it started.
Hold on, Masud, stop. Where you from? You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause how you get there?
How I get there?
I went there. That's fire.
We're gonna need more than an hour and a half.
I didn't even know you flew planes, bro.
We're gonna need more than an hour and a half for this
So give me that. Are you the old?
I'm an only child.
Okay.
From both mom and dad, and as a kid I was industrial. I had little toy trucks and little planes and things of that nature. That was what I liked. And graduated. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Parents, grew up there. My dad's from Guyana, mom's from Virginia. And Flatbush, moved to Canarsie when we got some money. I heard a friend of mine that we mutually have say, when you get money, you go from Flatbush to Canarsie.
I know who that is.
I was one of those people.
Shout out to my boy G.
Yes, sir.
G Money.
So moved to Canarsie. Went to high school, and
he's good on his mic. Yeah. Okay, perfect.
I wanted to go away to school was my thing. Everybody was talking about going to school here and there. I wanted to go away. Ended up going to Oklahoma and didn't really know how I was going to get there. I got a bus ticket, and I took the bus. I was 17 years old, maybe 150 pounds, soaking wet. Got on the bus, 30 hours to Oklahoma, and ended up going to more like a vocational school that really wasn't me. I wanted the whole, what I saw on TV kind of school.
Got it.
Didn't know what I was getting myself into. I got there, this ain't it. So my dad was getting sick at the time after I had been there for maybe like 8 months or so. So I decided to come back home. He had cirrhosis of the liver. So it was terminal for him. Wow. And came back, and I went to Vaughn College of Aeronautics, and I started my flight program. I wanted to fly airplanes. So I made it all the way to like instrument, which is after you do private pilot and then commercial pilot and then instrument pilot. And it was cool.
How long does that take? What's that process like?
It was maybe like 2.5 years or so. So I was doing that. I was going through that.
I thought it was like 9.
Yeah. Well, to get what you see, it takes like I was still in the
Copy.
beginning stages. And a recruiter came to the school, like how recruiters do. They go to recruit. So I ended up meeting a recruiter in the college day. He said he'll pay for college. I said, oh, okay, well, now I'll sign up. So I signed up. Didn't really think about it. I'm not a thinker kind of person. I'll go buy something and bring it home and try to put it together and then read the instructions. So that's me. I don't think, I don't plan, I just do.
Copy.
So joined the military and did it on the maintenance side. So I was a mechanic, got my hands dirty. They all beat up. You guys can see, no judgments. I got the little crust in between them. Yeah.
Man, okay. He's not ashy, he just built this way. You know
That's how it is what it is.
In other words, you know
That's
what I'm saying?
it. So that's when I joined the military.
Boom.
And that was right after 9/11, like the next week.
Wow.
Somewhere in that space. Yeah, somewhere in that
So
space.
casually, right?
Yeah. So went to the military, ended up fixing airplanes for a while, and went over to Europe. We did Iraqi freedom recovery, so I saw a lot of dead bodies, a lot of coffins, things of that nature. But I was a mechanic, and I was in the Air Force, so I had a pretty cake job. If anybody's listening, it's in the military. If you're in the Army, if you're in the Marines, they want to kick me and throw me under the bus.
Like
listen,
gang language, right? Like
you made the same money, and I had a cake job, and you didn't. You chose the wrong career field. It is what it is, you know? So, so the mechanic thing, you know, so I did that for about 15 years. In the process, you know, I bought a couple of homes, just being around some people at work. They were talking about houses and things of that nature.
Okay.
So I probably was like 23-ish, and I bought my first home. Question.
This is what I want to grab real quick as a listener, because I'm listening to the story for the first time. As a kid, he wanted to fly planes, handyman, never really looked for instructions. He just the kind of build. So when you see a recruiter, I'm not going to question too much because I'm not the person that has too many questions.
Yeah.
Let's just go do. Even though 9/11 just happened.
Just happened, yep.
Cool, let's go do it. And then you get exposed to, rest in peace, so those who put their life at risk for us, dead bodies, etc. And after that, you shortly meet some people. Were they in leadership? Were they peers?
More so peers.
Peers,
And just
and they
the
were just-
environment. Everybody, it was in more rural, so everybody owns houses, and they had dually pickup trucks, and they had that kind of life that I wasn't used to taking the L train in Brooklyn. you know?
Copy.
So, you know, I just followed the success. Didn't really know that I was following the success. I was attracted to that, you know?
So good.
And I had other peers that were there, you know, that didn't really do that. So in the process of, you know, being in the military, I utilized all of the benefits they had. I got my master's, my bachelor's, and my associates. Obviously, that was backward, but anyway, I got it. But I just utilized what they had. So when there was downtime, I was in the back, you know, working on my associate's degree. And some of them called me homework. Because that's what I was always doing my homework. And everybody else was in up, you know, they go play baseball, go do the, we had downtime. You know, you're not working on an airplane, you got time to chill. And I was just in the back, closed the door, and I was doing my studies. Didn't know really why, you know. So I bought my first house, and maybe 2004, I can't remember. But bought my first house, and I had no idea about buying a house, never had any leadership into buying a house. My dad lived with my grandparents, so he really didn't know anything about houses or anything like that. My mom, she bought a house because she worked for corrections, she had some money, bought a house in Canarsie, but it wasn't really for an entrepreneurial thing, it was just to buy a house.
Right.
I did it mainly, the thought process that I had was when I get to be retired, I'll have this income coming in. Still didn't know I'm an entrepreneur, didn't know that was a thought process, I just did it because I just figured that that's what it was. So I ended up buying the house, and it was a fixer-upper. Didn't have no type of plumbing skills, electric skills, but I ain't have no money.
Wait, is there fear at any point?
None.
There's processing through your mind, like,
I went.
does this go wrong?
I remember specifically, I didn't think about any of it. I went and signed, and this is the part that's crazy. So my uncle, he used to work for housing, and he did plumbing. So he came up on weekends, showed me a couple of stuff,
Right.
And it turned into me putting in boilers by myself, running electrical lines, changing sewer lines in the house.
Superman right here.
Kid you not.
And
I don't know.
This is pre-YouTube, though.
This is pre-YouTube.
This is pre-YouTube.
So now...
Pause real quick, bro. Yeah. All right. Here's a teaching point right here. Because some of you are paralysis over analysis. You want more and more and more and more and more on top of more, and that's a run-on sentence. If you went to school, you can't do that. Right. And you just went. So here's my question. Was it parenting? Because you're a single parent. You're a single child. Mm-hmm. And for you to leave your family and do all that and then be the person that still, I hear the only child, go isolate yourself and do what you got to do. There was no fear of leaving the family, no fear of like...
Nah, and I kind of resent the statement that people tell me you are successful because of your parents or you're successful because of your upbringing. And it's like, my dad was a social worker. My mom worked in the jail. They were blue-collared. No entrepreneur at all. I honestly can't say where I got the drive from because I don't know. But I know when I was 17, I got on the It was
the L train, bro. It was the L train.
It's the L train, right? I knew what I didn't want to be like.
Right. That's it.
So I got on the bus and I went all the way there. And it was just constant. So, mind you, I bought this house.
Right.
I'm doing the plumbing.
Where'd you buy this house?
Upstate New York.
Do you remember? All right, so just for context, do you remember the down? Because I know there's FHA now. There's,
Yep,
you know.
so I did an FHA loan.
Okay.
I might have put down like $5,000-ish.
Okay.
And when I walked in the house, it wasn't a house that you'd want to buy.
Dorm.
I don't know
college
where the
dorm feeling. Like,
beyond. Like, they had hot water heaters in the kitchen. That's how old and like raggedy it was. And I don't know how am I don't know, 21, 22, 23 years old. Where did I get the vision to see what this could be like? I didn't know. I just said I wanted it. And I do have a fear of loss because if I see value, somebody else sees value too. So I need to buy it right now. So I didn't really waste no time. I need it. Let's get it. Whatever. So I get the house, and I used to ride a motorcycle. I was big into riding. And
what didn't you do, bro?
So that was my hobby.
Okay, so
this is the point that I'm making.
Okay.
I like to ride, and I ride a lot.
Okay.
But when a sewage line, my tenants will call, the sewage line broke. My friends, I'm 23. My friends are going down to Englishtown on the turnpike, 30 of them deep, riding on the turnpike. You know where I'm at? I'm changing a sewer line. I don't know what would possess a 23-year-old to be in that space. Don't ask me. I don't know. My father didn't really give me this drive. My mom didn't really give me this drive. But where did I get? It's got to get completed from.
So here's a question so you can finish that statement. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here. So do you believe that you are born, per se, a leader or an entrepreneur, or you could become one?
You can become one for the simple fact that you need to be exposed to the right environments to bring it out. So if you're born with some of it, yes. You have some you're born with. You're going to be the person to make the most noise. If we're trying to put this floor together, I'm going to grab the tools first. You get some of that. Right. But it'll just go as far as it's going to go. Right. But the environment that you find yourself in, I feel that it would exaggerate it.
I agree with you.
Much like me, because I feel like I wasn't in a space to, although I am an alpha in my own right, in my own space, I feel like it took the environment for me to be in, and now for me to even make a conscious thought process about it, that people are around me. Like, people tell me that I choose my friends, and it's very much so. Who I have next to me, who I have in my corner is a choice, and if we're talking and you're not speaking my language, you're not going to get too close. You get what I'm saying? So, and it's like a lion. It's only one male lion in there. And if your bark is better than my bark, then do me a favor and turn around and you go back that way. And I don't mean it disrespectfully. Correct. I just mean that I'm the alpha here. Got it. And I think that I learned that from the environment that I was in. And had I not been interested in that environment, I probably wouldn't have been able to have that voice of being an alpha. No,
I understand. So what we were, it's you are to sewer line. You got you 30
sewer lines, friends riding. I just had to put one foot in front of the other.
How long did it take you to fix the sewer
I was
line,
working
bro?
on maybe hours, days, whatever. I had the idea. So it's like, here's a sewer line. It has a crack in it. I have to cut this piece out, and put something else in there. So as long as you understand that,
Copy.
that's basic. Anything it happens in your car, in the walls, wherever. So as long as you got the idea, that's how.
Got it.
And I just went from the beginning here, there, here, and I ended up just fixing. And sometimes you just got to be in the right place for things to happen. So the house caught on fire. They called me. I was in relax. It wasn't crazy, but there was a fire.
Got it.
And for me, I'm like, oh my God, this house again. And
so you became a firefighter.
no, I didn't put the fire out.
Like Masud put the fire out.
Nah, I didn't put the
I
fire
wouldn't
out.
be surprised if he did. You know what I'm saying?
But what happened was the insurance gave me so much money that I was able to completely rehab the house, and now I go 9 months without even going there. Versus I have to be there every single day. And if you just not preparing yourself for whatever is to come, when it comes, you will never be able to a chance to receive it. So if I wasn't in the space of saying, you know what, instead of riding bikes with my friends, which most of them aren't in a space that they would like to be in. That's, the result of that, So the fixing the plumber line was a cost. That was the cost of success. And there's some people who, you're crazy, sell that house, get rid of them. You know what I did? I bought a second one up the block. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how I got sucked into that trap. Now you got two houses. They both a pain in your ass. They 5 houses away from each other. And you didn't have time before. You don't got time now. So
you're 20.
I'm 24, maybe 25. But let me just go back a little bit. How did I fund this? So I was in the military full time. And I worked from 2:30 p.m. until 12 a.m., I guess, right? Mm-hmm. I got a part-time job at FedEx.
Okay.
So I was driving the FedEx trucks, being a courier.
Okay.
This was from 5:55 a.m. until 1:35 p.m.
And then right to 2.
Then right to
12.
2 to the base, fixing airplanes in the military. Did it for a year.
And when did you sleep? You're 24. Who needs it? We would be built like a BlackBerry battery. So, you know what I'm saying? And look, and as you continue that right there, I would say 75% of viewers or listeners are saying, I could never. But if it was a party, if it was a concert, and then you hung over, and you got to go to work the next day, you'll find it. Everyone has to have some type of level of sacrifice. So then down and I'm be able to speak on how they got there. Refill my man's cup is about to be I try to tell you, it's about to warm up here. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm impressed. So you're driving these trucks.
Thank you.
I'm listening, bro. I'm listening.
So yeah, so courier in the morning, airplane mechanic at night. I just did it. It was 1 year. April of 04 to April of 05. I had 2 jobs. And I hated it. But I had a house.
1 year that funded these 2 houses, though. That's 1 year grind.
1 year.
Wow.
1 year grinding. And I don't know, where did that hustle come from? Even today, I still ask myself, where did you get the drive? And if you see what I'm doing today, it's like, wow, it continues,
You know what I will say is, I would go on a limb here and We'll find out by the end of this episode. What I did notice from the time that I met you is the curiosity to at least figure it out. And no shame, no ego to go do so. It's who you've been represented to be since the day I met you. Right. I don't know you, but I'm going to talk to you because, and it's like, yo, boy, I done seen dead bodies, built airplanes, bro, work this. Who is, you didn't say that to me. Right. You looked at me like, all right. And that was it. Mm-hmm. And after that, I was like, yo, so I can see how that curiosity, I think that's what sparks. And I don't know what happened when you were a kid and made you so. I think being a single kid, too, makes you that curious, bro.
When I was, I left to go to Oklahoma, I need to get a car because being in Oklahoma is very rural. Right. So I call my mom. Can you co-sign? She can't. My grandma, she won't. My aunt, she won't.
I love it. For those who want to fucking cry, got everything in the world. Oh, it's sometimes. Go ahead, I'm listening.
So I wanted a car. And this is the first time in my life I ever wanted something.
It's the car that did. Tell me it was a Civic.
It was actually like a Ford or something like that. It wasn't even
fucking two Civic.
So I wanted a car. They would not help me at all. So I got this job working for DirecTV. It was a customer service. And I worked and I worked and I worked. I was there like... somebody came in the morning, I was there. Left for night, I was there. I'm 17,
by the way.
And my mother said, no, you can't, whatever. I'm not buying it for you. And I said, I promise you that will be the last time. And I said this at 17, that anybody would ever tell me I can't have something that I want. And I worked my ass off for it. And maybe that was it. I don't know.
That's it. Sometimes it's just that small and it's ingrained. Okay, so damn. So now... Where you were working, the way you funded is because you worked these hours. You had your second house.
Yep. So I ended up getting my second house. I put some money down. I forget the exact whatever. Put it down, and now I'm there working on two houses. I finished with the FedEx. I'm working in the military, but every morning I was there, fixing a sink, fixing this, fixing that, fixing this, and it just was on and on and on. And my coworkers were like, sell that piece of shit. Get rid of that. Right. Don't be a landlord. Get out of here. And da-da-da-da-da-da. It went on for years. I'm just constantly. Then the bulb comes again. So I had bad tenants, and they weren't paying. It's the normal for me.
Right.
The house was vacant. I was ready to let it go. I'm in WV now at this time.
Okay.
And I had just got a 6 Series.
I remember when you got that car.
And I get a call.
This is the rector with my fucking car. Swear to God, like, who the fuck got a... Yo, I'm like, how do you do that? I'm listening.
So the house was vacant. People broke in and stole all of the copper piping out the house. Down to the baseboards. Down to in the wall, there's copper for the shower. To go from the bottom of the tub to the top of the shower, there's copper. So they broke all of the walls down everywhere in the house. This took time. Jesus. So they must have came in there with flashlights and did it. Needless to say, insurance company came again, took care of it, able to fix the house, get the house good to go.
Shout out to insurance.
And now both houses are good, got good tenants, got good whatever. And to this day, they still there. And, paid one of them off. And people were telling me to sell, get out, this, that, and the third. And there are maybe 6 times what I paid for them now at this time.
So here's the message. Sometimes you're gonna hit an objection or you're gonna hear no more than 6 times. But if you stay strong enough, if you stubborn enough, if you just don't know why, but listen to your gut, it'll be worth 6 times more. They still stand today generating that income.
And I get calls, I would say 2-3 times a week to sell them. And, 5 years ago, they were one price, and you can imagine what they are today.
And right now, they super up. Yeah. They got to be like crypto numbers. Yeah. Boy, the market went crazy. Okay, so now this is what I'm curious to know. Because we met in network marketing, okay? So how do you go from, because here's where I want to give light to. Some of us know that our success isn't the biggest success, right? Like there's always something more or something you can learn. Because hearing all that, if you accomplish, it's like, why go do something else? Or why get into more stuff that takes my time if I have this going on? When in the hell do you have the time or idea to go do something else? So so was network marketing something that was appealing to you? Or was it like...
It was... Are we going?
Let's get it.
You want to hear it?
Let's go get it.
A friend of mine, so I finished with the military. I got out of the military, got my master's and everything. And right around the time I was finishing my master's, I was going to get out of the military because I had to change career field because the government was having a reduction in force. So either I go back to school or get out. I'm out. So I left. And I had finished my airframe and power plant, which is something that allows you to work on commercial airplanes. I did it in the military. They paid for it as well. So not only they paid for all 3 degrees, they paid for my airframe power plant, which is expensive these days. Ended up working for American Airlines, and I started as a mechanic, made it to crew chief, went into management. As soon as I started working for American Airlines, I saw WV. Didn't join because it made sense. Sweets presented it. I didn't join. I joined because of the person who showed it to me. That was it. And I'm super competitive. I went, saw a little, hit 1010, hit this, and then I seen you and Clash at across from PC Richards and Perfections in Astoria.
Oh, okay. I know exactly what you're talking about. Right.
And then I heard the stories, the BMWs and the cars and the this, and nobody got a
For
job.
the record, just want to get on fire. We made that shit fly.
They did.
We made that shit fucking fly.
So
Okay.
that's part of me switching careers. I saw life, I would say.
Because at this time you're working really hard, bro.
I was working hard. Well, now I was a manager for American Maintenance.
Okay.
So I was sitting behind a desk supervising a bunch of people over here at JFK.
Right.
And I still had to go to work every day.
Copy.
I was driving a Maxima, I want to say. And everybody else that I was seeing didn't have no job.
Copy.
I had a master's degree. I had a really good job. And let me tell you, they gave me this vest that said aircraft maintenance manager. And I would go up to the terminal and walk through the terminal, have my little walkie-talkie, and I would just press the buttons and somebody would answer. And I felt like I was walking on water because all 3 of my degrees are in aviation maintenance. So I loved airplanes as a kid. Now I was able to fly airplanes. Now I was able to fix airplanes. I was able to supervise people in airplanes. So that's what I wanted to do.
Fire.
But I saw life here, you know, and I went to a couple of trainings and I saw some things and I saw whatever, and it didn't really take much. I was just like, all right, I quit. I wrote a letter. Honest to God, it didn't take much. I didn't think about it. I didn't talk to nobody about it. My mother didn't know. They was like, they had free flight benefits. Like, where's my shit at? Gone. You know? Gone.
I fucking love it.
So I just quit. I just wrote my 2 weeks, and they thought I was high.
Wait, because I wanted to listen to. Yeah, listen. For that person who's starting their journey, whether it's network marketing, a company, whatever it is, you're not Masud. He's established himself, has 2 properties, built enough belief and trust within himself. He knows he doesn't have to ask too much. He's going to figure it out. Then sees something, goes to a couple trainings, let me highlight that, to make the switch and say, I know what I got to go do. Not because entrepreneurship sounds sexy, because it's a cool fucking testimony, but you're really broke, lying, misleading, because you want to just get likes and go with the fat. No, he already had himself established and already has the sweat equity to know what he has to get done. So
let me, so some of the things that I did prior to, so I didn't go blindly. Let me go back. I paid off all of my credit cards. Boom. I had 0 debt except for my mortgages, which they were
good
income.
Debt, right.
And when I left, I didn't have much overhead.
Perfect.
And I had money coming in from a few different streams of income. So the money that was coming in for WV funded my lifestyle. You know, I was traveled all over the world and, you know, those things. And I specifically use that industry just to fund my life. I owned property, didn't live in them, so they would and I rented where I lived. And I rented out where I owned. So the mortgages paid for itself, paid my rent, and, you know.
That was a bar. Like a big one. Go ahead, I'm listening.
And I use, you know, my fun club, my fun environment to fund my lifestyle, you know. And I don't really talk about it. You know, some of this is I'm saying for the first time. Nobody even knows about this.
So I'm gonna say it now. This is the power behind this podcast. There has not been one episode. So none of you guys have seen your episodes yet.
Okay.
And every single person has said something 10 times of, I've never shared that before. This is the first time of me saying that.
Yep.
And I appreciate that moment. That's an in the living room moment. That's what we're gonna call those.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it.
Where was I? I lost my train of thought.
So you already paid off your debts. You was renting. You was the home you rented his home. Or rent home rents homes. That's where you was at.
So I just said, you know what? I don't want to work because I looked at the people that were working and they've been there for 20 years and they were kind of washed up. But I don't want to. This is something that I really want to talk about for whoever's listening.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, please.
I gotta.
Oh, because I'm tired of these washed up, angry ass people. Go do some shit.
I got a couple of phone calls recently, especially with those that found out that the companies that I own, and they were younger, 18, 19, 20, 21, and they don't want to work. And they have that come from that I don't want to work at 18. And I am so grateful that I worked at 18, that I had a job at 18, that I had a career at 24 or 20, whatever the age. I'm so grateful. So whoever's listening, please don't take on that mentality of entrepreneurship before you're ready. Because by the time I made it to entrepreneurship, I had already had hundreds of thousands of dollars invested. I already had homes. I already set myself up that I feel the reason why I am where I am today is because I did work. I did have a pension and I had these things. And I hear in people today, they want to go and jump into entrepreneurship and they on their mama's couch.
Right.
If
you're paying attention, the gentleman said, I worked from 12 to 5. And then you heard it.
Yeah.
It's sweat equity for a year that funded his hard work on a job, funded his entrepreneurship.
Right.
So when you get to a point where you're like, I don't really gotta work. I didn't want to skip that. Right. Now you decide to make that decision.
That I can walk away because of what I set up. And I heard an analogy recently. Your job, for the entrepreneur mind, your job is your business partner. And I found that to be so profound. Never heard it before.
Hard body karate. Shout out to whoever said that.
You know what I'm saying? And it's so true.
That's
you
facts,
you get up, you go to work, y'all do y'all little powwow, you have y'all love-hate relationship. But I heard before, I ain't gonna be here long. And I took it to heart, and I went for it.
Go, I'm listening to
you. That's when the entrepreneurship grew in me. And obviously now I don't want to work for anybody else. I enjoy my freedom and my time and those things, but it came at a cost. And prior to what I'm doing now, people used to ask me, how much money do you make? And
how do you feel about that question?
I don't like the question unless you're willing to do what I've done, because they correlate. So if you're not willing to do what I've done, you don't want to know how much money I make because you're not willing to go work for it like how I did. So I give that response when someone asks me though. Are you willing to do what I've done? Are you willing to go change sewer lines and drive 4 hours for a no?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or do those things.
Let's talk about
Most people not really willing to, and even I'm sure if we talk to all of the millionaires and billionaires and so forth and so on, you ask whomever how much money he makes, are you willing to get punched in the face like how I'm not. I don't, okay, whatever you make, right. I don't want to get punched in the face. All of your billions, you can have them. I'm going to stay over here. You ain't punching me in the face, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to.
And I think that's so big right there. I think, look, you got to chase your dream.
Right.
Not someone else's. Like, the first question I had was, what you want to do when you were 7 and is that kid alive? I hear the 7-year-old right now still. Bro, you did everything that had to do with planes and gave yourself the stripes to go say, all right, now I want to go fund my life. You know what I'm saying? So have yours. And I think the world now I'm going to be real with y'all. I was just talking to Rafi right now, right? Shout out to my boy behind the camera. And, only the select few know this. A couple years ago, some things happen. So the dream changes, all right? And that happens. And I was like, yo, what the fuck do I want? What I really fucking want? You know what it was, Masud? A fucking bed. I just wanted my own bed. Took the shit out, put the shit on capital as a goal, $4,000 on. I said, I want the shit to look like this. I got a fucking dope, amazing beautiful fucking bed. From being the whole, I need all this, to this is what I want. I don't care what anybody else thinks I should have, etc. Right. It tailored to what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? And from there you grow. And also I made it something that I know I can achieve. I know I could go get this fucking bed. That's the dream right now. And I felt fucking great. You were so laser focused on what you want. I think if you get anything from this, is authenticity of who you are, studying, don't go, etc. It's important. You know what I'm saying? You got to listen to that voice. And I'm sorry I went on a tangent right there.
Oh, I'm listening.
It's, you from it sounds like you don't know where it comes from, but you always listen to it.
Yes.
You always listen to it. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but this is telling me
listening.
this.
Right.
But I'm going to do this. Sometimes the dream changes, right? And it could come from a place of strength, courage, change that you're looking for. Or sometimes is, you know, it could be fear, unpredicted, scary. In these times of you making changes, Masud, the first one where it was buying your houses, doing that, working these jobs, etc., no fear. Now we get to a place in network marketing that everything's beautiful. And we're kind of forced to pivot. Mm-hmm. Forced. Not necessarily to say you don't have to, but we got to understand where you're a person that built this foundation before. And I think all right, let me just give you the credit due. That is exactly why you do what you do. Where something gets scary, the hours you put in, the foundation, etc., you did that. Not everybody else did.
Right.
I've seen you in roles where, I want to just speak on your leadership, where things got a little scary. In entrepreneurship, I think if you haven't heard it right here, they pretty much stole his house. You know what I'm saying? Like, they stole the man's house and he was centered and grounded. Now we get to a place where financially the company isn't doing well. Mm-hmm. Commissions aren't being paid to some degree. And you stay fucking grounded. Mm-hmm. But what I also know is you actually listened and reached out to your people. How do you keep that balance from, I'm centered, I'm okay, but what the fuck, not everybody else is. What's happening to Masud here? Is Masud going, well, I'm going to just look at a fucking YouTube video how to fix this one too? Or do you finally go, oh shit, how do I fix this?
I feel like, you know, the people that chose to follow me in the direction that I was going, they chose to follow because I was leading with a different motive. Some of the things that I was preaching along the way was quality of life. And that for me is the most important thing, quality of life. So I've always talked about it. Live better. Don't just live here, live over there. Don't just eat this, eat that. Don't just drive this, drive that. Don't just do this, do that. I've always spoke about better quality of life. And that's why even today, and even though I'm not necessarily knee deep in network marketing, if I decide to say, hey, this is what we need to do, everybody's still there because it was a quality of life. And so to answer your question, I feel like that was the key that I preached. We need to live a better quality life because tomorrow's not promised. And it wasn't for money. It wasn't for the glam and the what's the word?
It's the glamour.
What's the word that I can't think of the word. The lime. I don't know if it's even lime like it's a word that you do. Clout. It wasn't for the clout.
Wasn't for the clout.
And it was just to help people get a chance to do something that they wanted to do for all of these years and couldn't. And, you know, people that I mainly worked with were older. You know, my dad's age group and my aunt's age group, my mom's age group. And they had surpassed life further than I had, and they wanted to do these things as a kid. And I feel like when I came along, they got the opportunity to see some of that and live a little bit more and dream a little bit more. And when things were going crazy, I stayed with that, you know. And I think right at the heart of it, we picked up everybody. We went to Kenya. I don't know, like 40 of us went to Kenya just we going and continue to keep living, you know. So I just kept that. And now, when I look back at all of those people that stayed next to me, they all have Airbnbs. They all own their own businesses. They all have something. Like most of the people who earn the passive income that we've created, they all have created a different source of income to fund the lifestyle, you know? So I just kept it going.
I just want to come on record because I know I've said this to you before. I don't know if you remember this conversation, but I want to say thank you for several things. When my phone didn't ring, you called it.
Yes, sir.
When my phone didn't ring, if I think about in midst of everything, it was like, yo, Masud called it, sat me down, fed me, get him another drink. You know what I'm saying? And then took it upon yourself to say, I respect your decision. I respect what you're doing. And built a relationship with the people who I was in business with. Right. And put them on your back as well. Forever and death for that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I didn't say it before, I'll say it here. One of one, love. Leader of leader, bro. You know what I'm saying? For real. Appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Love is love.
Love is love.
So now I want to get into how the fuck you wake up one day. No, I know how.
You know how.
I know how. But I want to hear.
He knows how. He wants y'all to know how.
I want y'all to know how. So now, it's a fucking regular day, and Masud gets a phone call. Masud gets a phone call from these women. Mm-hmm. And they're talking about trucking.
Yes.
I want to know how it goes from, oh, we just want to talk to Masud, to, oh, shit, I'm
well, it was
truck.
kind of an accident, you know. One of my good friends, Jenya, you know, we have created a great relationship over the last, 8 years or so. And we was having lunch like we normally do. We grab lunch periodically. Where you at? What you doing? Let's grab lunch. That's how we do. And she was having a conversation with a friend of hers in regard to trucking, and I'm listening. We're on our way to go eat.
Oh, so you like ear hustling?
I ear hustled it. I didn't even
know that.
So
yo, I didn't know that.
Not only as a kid was I into airplanes, I was also into trucks.
That
I love trucks.
7-year-old is coming.
So I was the person that was going down south or whatever. I'm in the back seat going like this to the truck driver so they could blow the horn. So it was full circle. So when she started talking about truck, I was like chiming in because I knew a few things. I like industrial stuff. Even now, I like look at trucks when they go by. I look at airplanes when they're in the sky. I go see trains. Right now, I'm like looking down at the wheels, seeing what they're doing. I just like industrial stuff, you know. So when she was talking about trucks, she told me about the numbers. Maybe 4 days went by, I owned a truck. Don't ask me how. I don't know how. Don't freaking ask me that question. I don't know how. All of a sudden, there was a truck and my name was attached to it.
Masud,
they gave it to me. What's the thing on Instagram? They gave it to me. How much did it cost? They gave it to
me. That's insane, bro.
Don't know how I did it, bro. All I know
I just want to know what the fuck, like when your bed and your pillow, what the fuck is, you get up.
So,
all right, so here's what
we went to, go ahead.
So here's what I want to know, right? Because I think this is parts the nuts and bolts I want to get into. We already know that Masud doesn't know how, but he's going to figure it out. So what I'm going to try to get from Masud now is I want him to slow down and give me that process in those 4 days. You hear about this? Mm-hmm. Are you on Google looking for trucks?
Nothing.
What?
Me and Jen, we went to the dealership, the same one that she bought her truck from. I walked around. I said, okay, I like that one. I got inside. I started it up. Sounds good. It's got some wheels on it. It's got an engine. I'll take this one.
I'll take this one.
So I left. She sent me where to go. I went, paid what I had to pay, came back. 3 days. The guy was like, what the fuck? What you doing here? I'm like, oh, I'm done. Truck, let's go. I came back 2 days later, had a driver.
How did you get this? Okay, now. Okay, forget about it. You know how you got
this
truck.
Is constituents conversation
right. How do I get a driver? I get a truck. Mm-hmm. How do I find a driver? Am I on Instagram saying, yo, who's the driver?
So I will be putting out a course here pretty soon. So you guys are hearing it first. But I knew somebody. So that story I kind of want to talk about there.
Cool.
However, it wasn't a normal situation. I knew somebody that got me a driver. So things were a little bit easier.
If he didn't say it before, he'll say it again. He knew his surroundings and he knew how to pick them.
Right.
Relationships that get you in places that money can't sometimes.
So in the first 3 days, when the truck was ready to be driven, I had a driver to put in the seat just because of relationships, So we'll save that for a different combo.
Sure.
But so that's really what it was. We had a convo. I heard it. I liked the numbers. The numbers made sense. I want to get a truck. Didn't really do much research. Got the truck. The truck was running. This was July. And maybe 4 months went by. I wanted to get a second truck.
4 days, 4 months.
4 days, 4 months.
That's what this is going to be called. 4 days, and 4 months.
I realized that volume was what mattered here. You needed to have volume or lines of lineage.
Okay. So a person who, I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
So I'm a person that comes across and I'm 22 years old and I'm 24 and I'm looking into trucking. And when you say volume or lineage, are you saying I need more trucks?
Yes.
The more trucks, the better? Or I need more routes for my truck as opposed to volume? What does that really mean? I'm curious myself.
So you need more trucks.
Okay.
So if you can bring home, I don't know, let's just call it $3,000 a month. I'm just throwing a number. It's not a real number. I'm just saying. Let's say you could bring.
Well, okay, let me give you a better, since you're doing that. Is there a ballpark number that if I have a truck, what's the average? If I go from like what trucks make, is it around that $1,000, $2,000 mark? Or you don't want to make disclaimer? We're not making disclaimers here.
Yeah, I don't kind of, because it matters if you own your truck outright, if you in the East Coast, if you have a sleeper, so it varies in so many different areas.
Got it.
So
let's just go with that number.
Yeah, let's just go with 3,000. And if I can make $3,000 with one truck, if I have 2 trucks, I can make 6,000. If I have 3 trucks, I can make 9,000, and so on. So the more volume that you have, the more money you can make. Okay, so the 3,000 was just a number, so we can call that X, I guess, right? X squared plus E squared.
Math. This is you an aviation guy.
Listen, I failed math. Don't judge me.
You know my story.
But any one of those X's is whatever you get. So let's just use
right.
X for the amount of money you make, right? So I realized you needed volume.
Got it.
So I said I want to buy a second truck. But I bought both trucks cash, so I didn't want to just leave that money there. I wanted to make the money back. So I got my CDL license just so that I can drive it for 3 months, 4 months to put the money back in the account and then own the trucks. No entrepreneurship. This is just me thinking, adding 1 + 1, and I got 4.
So what's the process of you getting this license?
So I heard that you didn't need to go to a school to get a CDL. So I said, really? So I called up my driver. I said, hey, I'm coming to work with you for 2 weeks. Went to work with him for 2 weeks. So I drove. He watched. And 2 weeks later, I had a CDL. No schooling, no nothing. I just did it. It needed to get done. That was just the next obstacle. Got it done. So the day I got my CDL, I had bought the truck already, paid for it, bought a truck from one state, bought a trailer from a different state. They drove each one to one spot. I took a flight to Buffalo, picked it up. First time driving alone. I'm up in Buffalo, got no clue what I'm doing. Something breaks in like 10 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do now? And what broke, I needed it. Like, right. I couldn't. It wasn't, I'll fix it later. You know.
It's in the sewer line.
I called Tommy from the 5th floor. Right. Nah. Nobody came to help me.
Shit.
And it was cold. I was in Buffalo. It was October. It was cold. It was light snow. What the fuck I'm going to do now? So I kind of like chuck the truck to like a nearby truck stop. And it was an airline. I forgot exactly, but something was broke with the airline. I went in there and bought some tools from the thing. and I fix it. Place had it.
Yo, get the fuck out of here.
Because it was.
I love it. I love it.
It was a truck dealership, not for the truck that I had, but it was a truck dealership.
Got it.
You know, you go to a Nissan. If you got a Toyota, you go to a Nissan. They're gonna sell something that you may need.
Copy.
So they had what I needed. I took it off, put it back on, drove from Buffalo to home, and the 3 months turned into a year and 4 months. I needed to continue to keep working. So I had a plan. You mentioned the dream changes. I had a plan to just, own the truck. I didn't really want to drive. Although I really got a kick out of it. I like trucks. I really didn't want to do it. Right. But I drove for a year and about 3 months, sleeping on the side of roads back in Alabama, someplace I ain't got no business being. In Kentucky, where nobody look like me is at, I'm just there, sleeping on here, doing this just to make this money. And I did it for a year and a half, and that paid for truck 3.
Okay.
So.
Okay. If you don't want to give me these numbers, you don't have to.
Yep.
But I want to put things into perspective. Truck 1 cost X amount of dollars.
Oh, I'll tell you that.
Let's do that.
Truck 1 cost me 20 grand.
20 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Truck 2 cost me
30 grand.
30 grand. I drive truck 1 to pay for both 1 and 2. Give or take.
Give or take.
But as I'm doing that, they're going and making
They're making their money. Yes, they're supporting my.
I'm accelerating the process. I'm doing the same thing I did at FedEx, working at 1 hour. I see what you're doing here.
So you mentioned that things kind of got rocky, and I had to, in our previous, and lifestyle is my number one priority.
Right.
So regardless of what's happening to what we're doing to create income, if that stops, I can't. Right?
Right. It's true.
So if I have a lifestyle, I need to travel. I need to live in a certain place. I got to have a certain car. If I got to work at McDonald's.
70 hours a day.
70 hours a day.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm used to, I like nice things.
Right.
So if I like to eat at nice places, I like to drive a nice car, I like to do nice things, and the money that's coming from over here dries up, that means I got to go create some other ones too, because I can't stop this.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So one of my focuses was every single year, probably since I've been in WV, had to be better than last year. That is an absolute must. There is no... That's a non-negotiable. Next year has to look better than the year prior.
Ladies and gentlemen, you need non-negotiables. Some of you are in relationships you're not supposed to be in because you don't have non-negotiables. Some of you are this 55-year-old grumpy, dirty, nasty, need to go see a dentist. Don't even wash your feet. No, you make the fucking room dark as soon as you walk at the... Leave the damn job. Quit. You don't have non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables.
You got to have non-negotiables. Non-negotiables are the things that you can't waver from, and that's big. So every single year.
Has to be better. So, also truck 3 was a continuation. So as my goal was to move to California. It's been a long dream of mine. I had this facade of a... penthouse overlooking the Pacific Ocean. It's been on my vision board for a long time. I wanted to make it happen. I didn't know how I was going to make it happen, but we was in WV. We were chasing this dream. The conversation that I had with my friend Jen, she put me on, and we went down that path. And trucking funded the penthouse overlooking the Pacific Ocean. And
ladies and gentlemen, he said that shit mad calm. The motherfucker lives in LA. In that penthouse. Talk to me about, because this is what I want to know now, Masud. You built like a machine, and I know your heart. When these things start to come into fruition, what's happening, bro? Like, is Masud dancing? Is he doing 50 push-ups? By the way, Masud, hold on, let me just say this. Masud is also the guy who said he has not worked in a year, but can do... We was in a push-up challenge one time, okay? We was in a fucking push-up challenge one time. Masud said, y'all haven't worked out in mad long, and did 70 fucking push-ups. All the way up, all the way down. Like, what? That's not a fucking push-up.
He had his half push-ups.
Bro, I'm like, yo, hold on. I went through like 50, boy, and went all the way down, calm. I'm like, yeah, this man's built different. So what I'm saying is the joy in the destination, or is it like the penthouse, bro? Like,
I just think it's in the process because as the accomplishments happen, one of my best friends' name is Josh, and
Josh, what up, boy?
he is the person to make me understand the validity in the things that I do. I didn't.
Right, I can see that.
You know what I'm saying?
It's fucking pink in the brain situation.
Because, okay, I never talked about being in the military. I never talked about owning homes. I never talked about having a master's degree. He's the one that says, why don't you this and why don't you that?
Right.
And I didn't really see value in it. It was just, that's what the next step was. So me moving to the penthouse, even when I closed, the pinnacle moment was I slept there. There was no furniture, no bed. I just got a pillow. I slept on the floor, and that was that. And, it was a huge accomplishment for me to make it, but it was just the next accomplishment. Whatever needed to come next. You get what I'm saying? Just like the sewer line. Once I got the sewer line fixed, it wasn't like, oh, Jesus. Nah, it just needed to get done. So really, all of the things that I do, I just feel like it's whatever needs to, I got to continue to keep going and going and going and going and going until whatever next is coming, which there will be a next, whatever that is, So now it's truck 4. And the goal was the first quarter, but it didn't happen. It don't work out the way I planned it. So then the next goal will go to the second half, So before June, when's the second half? June 1st?
We had quarter 2 is about to be,
June 1st is the second half.
Yeah.
So June 1st is truck 4. And I want to be before July 19th, truck 5. That's when the company started. So 2 years, 5 trucks.
And now, do you have a different process? Because of course your relationship, and I'm glad that you're gonna, we're gonna put his handle on here. Instagram is Masud Dorsett. Just for
the life of
Masud.
The life of Dorsett.
The life of Dorsett. All his channels will have in the description below. If you guys are getting value on this, please click the link, like and subscribe. You guys see what I got people in here to figure things out in 4 days to 4 months. You understand what I'm saying? Pay attention to the man. He's gonna give you details on there. So my only question is now your process, because of course of your relationship, the value is there. His relationship is obviously gonna be given and spreaded, but is it a different system now? Like first driver was because of my relationship. Now I don't exercise that vehicle per se. Like I have a system in place. Here's my question, I guess. I'm brand new. I don't have Masud's connections.
Yep.
But I have 20,000. And I want to go get me a truck. Is there a system in place for me to find a driver as fast? Is that like what's the hurdle in finding a driver?
If I were to give anybody an advice, if they got 20 grand, you're going to go buy a truck, fine, go buy your truck. But get your CDL first. Because the come from that I have people who work for me. I'm their employer, and the respect that comes along with, I know what it's like to drive in 4 feet of snow, to drive in the Appalachian Mountains down in North Carolina, to drive through Utah. It is, somebody's life is at risk now. You had a man who was in Colorado and killed 4 people a little while ago. It's on trial for 110 years. 110 years. And you're asking somebody to operate a piece of machinery for you, and you don't even know what it's like, what you asking him to go do. Right. You get me? Right. So you telling them to go risk their life, and you sitting at home eating ice cream. So at least I feel like when I'm asking you to get up and go drive this truck, I have 2 guys right now on the road in the middle of nowhere, and they're doing this, and what they're doing is paying my mortgage. And I asked them to get up and go do this, and although I'm paying them for their services, they're still putting their life at risk. They're still out there driving at 3 o'clock in the morning and going over mountains. And I appreciate what it feels like to come down a mountain with 80,000 pounds of weight. And the harder you step on the brake pedal, the faster the truck goes. So I can appreciate those things. And at the bottom of this long hill, there's a sharp curve that you could die. And you could kill a bunch of people in that process. So if you are, and that's not a good thing for someone to hear.
But it's the truth.
But it's the truth.
It's Masud.
Yeah, you know, and I'm going to be teaching a course here, and in a segment of my course will be the truth, because I know that I see courses and they give you the glamour and it is,
ooh,
and
just
that.
do this,
Yeah. And
because
you
you know
don't.
tomorrow. First of all, you're not Masud, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I get.
So-
I'm glad that you're sharing that, because that's actually the point of this podcast, is to let people know that I know real entrepreneurs, right, who have real success stories, who know that they really sacrifice their time. So it makes the reward so much worth it, because you went through the struggle, like whatever it took. I'm tired of social media making it seem like it's just sexy.
No.
It's not. And you know, and as I started the podcast, I said, you know, who you are, your truth, your leadership. You are one that can drive that truck yourself, so then you can go tell somebody
To go out here
to
and do it.
drive it.
And that's made the biggest difference, you know. And I can feel that the guys who work for me can respect me in a different way. And it came from my leadership. You know, one of my mentors now still mentors me today. You know, I remember from I was 20 years old, and a lot of the fundamentals I got from him, I apply now, you know. So if you are looking to get into trucking, you know, you kind of you want to go down that path, and more so because I had a huge setback in my company, you know, 2 months ago, and I had to step in and go drive, which I didn't want to drive. And, you know, I just stopped driving Friday. You know, I was over it, and I got a new driver. Thank God he picked up today, and now I'm going back home to the penthouse. You
So
know?
look, and I want to, and if we speak on that, look, because in entrepreneurship, here's what I also want to say: the reward of sticking through is 10 times better than dealing with something that's convenient, right? So here's what I mean: some of us are at the fear of leaving a job, and that's nothing against the job. The fear of leaving a job is not because you're going to go do something else; it's because you're afraid of leaving a check
Yep, the
that you're comfortable
comfortability.
getting.
Yep.
Because the reward of doing this, it's much bigger. Now, you said this the other day, and I have to now is relevant to time. Gas changes. The price of gas then changes. And it's because people like you who not only drive these trucks, but, you know, take the courage to go own these companies to transport goods and services, right? Gas goes from $3 and change
To $6
to $6 to fuel up one of your trucks. How much did it cost?
So roughly it's about $1,200. And if you go a couple of months ago, it was, you know, $600, $650 to fill the truck, and now it's that double. And the loads
what
don't.
the fuck is going through your mind when I was like, all my trucks overhead per se, or the margin of profit, just double because gas.
So the goal hasn't changed. I need to live in a penthouse. I need to wake up in the morning and come downstairs and go on my balcony and sit and drink my tea and be able to see
kind of tea? What
my
kind of
green
tea?
tea
Okay.
with lemon.
Okay.
Nothing fancy.
Okay.
That I got from Walmart. I don't got no fancy tea. What do you mean? I gotta have fancy tea?
Everybody in Brooklyn like, oh, now he drink tea though. Fellas, drink your tea. Stop playing, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So that hasn't changed. So if the gas prices is $9, then we got to get a fourth truck to pay for because my quality of life can't go backward. So next, whatever the obstacle is, 10 trucks, 20 trucks, my lifestyle can't go backward. Not only my lifestyle, the people around me. Another one of my best friends, Justin, we talk every day, and I need to make sure that his quality of life is increasing, even if he don't think so. The fact that you attach to me, you have to grow. Period. You know? So I gotta continue to level up.
That's
So we're masculine men, we're competitive men. If we're very close and I win, you must win. With certainty. Not a have to win. You must win. So we can go back a little bit, and I would love for him to hear this part if he watches it. But when I got my first truck, he wanted to get his Airbnb.
Yep.
and I was mad because he didn't have the Airbnb yet. So I called him after
And
jab him.
Right.
Where's the Airbnb? So I said, am I going to get my second truck before you get your Airbnb? Because I got to make sure, because the iron sharpens iron. If I'm standing up and I lean back, you better be, if I fall. So if I fall back, you better be there to catch me. And if you fall, I better be there to catch you.
True.
And it just has to be that way. So not only does my quality of life has to increase, because it would not be any value if the people around me's life didn't increase either.
Absolutely.
What good is it if I'm just here and they just, I don't need peons or peasants or whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it has to be a constant, because not only am I looking at myself in the mirror, my closest friends are looking at me as well. What are you doing? What's happening? Are you elevating? As I'm looking at them, it's an even trait of value. You get me? So my friends are winning and I'm winning. I'm winning, my friends are winning. And it's just elevate after elevate after elevate on both ends. You get me? So the gas prices don't really matter, because I know that my friends are looking at me like, what you doing now, bro? What you going about? You're not about to, because I need to, in our line of work, we were impressed based upon how others viewed us.
Talk about that.
Right? I need to make sure that my circle of 4 or 5 friends are proud of my accomplishments, and that's it. The rest of the world, I could care less about. So as long as Josh and as long as Justin, as long as Felix and these people that are very close to me can look at me and say, hey, my guy is doing what he got to do, that's all I need. And I'm going to keep moving and moving, because I gave a commitment to them, because their success depends on me winning. Right? You win, your friends win. So as long as I'm winning, my friends are winning. Can we agree?
Absolutely. So I just want to give you this. Look, I had Rel and Yvonne come on here.
Nice.
And speak on Airbnb. And
Are
shout
you going
out.
to be at the event on the 9th? I'll be at the event.
So look, shout out to Justin on the 9th. I'll be there. Shout out to Justin, because they mentioned Justin. And Justin has one of the most compelling stories from when I first heard his testimony at the beginning, right? And if we're just paying attention, in a world where everyone else's perception is something that had value, to make sure we held what everyone saw, which I think is fucking scary, because what he said was, as long as the 4 or 5 people pay attention, he's been very selective of who he has around. You know what the world, I think, is missing today? Friends who keep you accountable. Friends who say, bro, I got my first truck. Where the fuck is your Airbnb? I'm not going to have 2 before you get your 1.
Yep.
Because it comes from a place of love. And I don't want to be, I'm going to go do it anyway. I'm Masud. Masud going to have a sneaker someday, bro. Like, made it by itself. You know what I'm saying? It's something powerful about being so independent but interdependent at the same time. Like, you want to be a person. You do it yourself so you could give it back to others. Because there's no point of always doing it for yourself. Getting his CDL wasn't to say, I could do it myself. It's to show you it's okay for you to go do it. It gives me the okay to employ someone. And they're getting paid. One of his employees can't stop talking about you. I love this dude. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yo, bro, he changed my life. I don't change my life. You know, can't stop.
So, you know what, some of the reasons for it, I remember back in network marketing, a lot of our success came from personal gain. And Justin in particular, my brother, I wanted him to win so bad.
I know what you mean.
And there was zero.
Nothing you had to
And honestly, there's no words that I could say to make him really feel how bad I wanted, because he doesn't really know how bad. Like, I would really, really, deep down inside, want him to win so bad, and there's zero gain for it. And the gain for me is, if I got to talk about somebody, he's attached to me, and I can say his success. And in turn, it's selfish. It's a selfish act that I could be excited about. Oh, that's him. That's my man's right there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, him. Oh, yep. That's my man's right there. And I felt so much joy in him just winning as a person with no 0, 0, 0. I won because he won. And if he won, obviously, me being a male, me having testosterone, it makes me get up and we. So indirectly, I win.
Right.
You get me?
Absolutely.
If you're a competitive person and your friend wins, you
win.
You get
Yeah,
the whole
trust me, I get
notion
it.
of if you have 5 broke friends, you're number 6. The whole notion of that is created because
Correct.
if your friend wins, you don't have a choice. If you have any kind of testicular growth going on, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the beauty of it because I want you to win so badly, and I know that because you win, I will win regardless.
Man.
So that in 2 years from now, we all are on the yacht. And everybody earned their rightful place on the yacht. You didn't just come on your own.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This yacht cost $50 million. I put my share. You put your share. And I want my friends to be able to put their own share. I don't want to say, okay, well, I was the one that paid for it. Nah, fuck that.
Why?
I want everybody to be able to afford it.
Correct.
If you ever watch that show, Billions, they come, the jet over here, over here, everybody meet over, and everybody can afford to sit at the table.
Correct.
You know, so that's why I will continue to win, and the gas prices won't matter because regardless of the gas prices, somebody is going to be chilling. I'm not going to be, I can't move because nah, bro, you're not going back. Every year has to. So next year, you know, I obviously don't want to talk about income, but the goal is to make $2 million in a year. That's the goal for next year, and it doesn't matter how.
It does not matter how.
Doesn't matter how. I'm going to continue and continue and continue and continue and continue. And regardless of whatever happens, you know, if it means, okay, you got the penthouse in LA, now I got to get a penthouse in Miami, or I got to get a penthouse over there, or whatever. It doesn't have to be materialistic. Even forget about the materialistic portion of it, but just knowing that we're going to continue to grow. And from 17, I don't know where it came from. At 17 with 0 personal development, none. You come along, I read some books now. And I just continued to keep going. And every single year has just been better than the last one. And you got to ask yourself, you know, am I going to let the gas prices stop me from, maybe people's goals isn't that. I don't know if you want to make your next year better than the last one. I'm not sure. But for me, that has to be it, you know. And I have the years where we went to Switzerland and Dubai and Bali and Dubai, all in the same year. We did like 10 countries. How the hell do you freaking top that?
Right.
You know, like what's not? I swear to God, I didn't know what I was going to do. I've been to so many countries in 1 year. What do I got to do next? And then comes my friend talking about freaking trucking. So then it was make $1 million in a year. Now it's making $1 million and making $2 million in a year and continuing to keep going. Not so much just for the money, but tomorrow's not promised. We got people that have lost their lives due COVID. How dare us waste it? Sit in the house. Like there's somebody in the ground right now. Their flesh is gone. The maggots came and ate it, and you got 2 legs and you sitting there saying, "Well, the gas prices." Are you serious right now?
So I'm gonna tell you something, bro. As we bring this to a landing, if you watched, and I've said this before, I created this. It was a thought in 2017. Yo, I definitely want to get on the podcast, and I didn't know where. Like, I know I can speak and whatever. I think I could speak. I could speak. But I'm going, what do I want to do? And I made this for moments like this. To be selfish, because this is for the world, but it's truly for me. What you said, how you said it, the way you do it, what you stand for. Before we started, I knew I was going to need it. For those who are watching, thank you for watching. Thank you so much. This guy's on LA time, hasn't even booked his flight. You could have been anywhere in the world, bro, for real. If there's anything else that you want to leave, that comes to your mind before we go, the floor is yours, bro. And
I always get nervous at this part. I don't know what to say. But at the end of the day, I think that people should take ownership in quality of life. I really feel so. Because again, tomorrow is not promised, and how you live it matters. You know, what you do, who you spend it with, where you go. This weekend, I'm here. My grandmother wanted me to come and make her will. My great aunt passed away last week, so now she's emotional about this will. So I gotta go sit there and write down who's getting what and what's going where, and then I'm trying to just act like it doesn't, bother me. But the fact that she needs to divide this stuff now and figure it out. And I was talking to my aunt today, and I kind of wish that she sold these houses that she have, and she has a foster child, and God bless her, but I feel like my grandmother has raised her children already. She should be living her life, and she should sell all these houses and go book a 2-year cruise and go enjoy her money, so that there's nothing left for nobody. Like, why did she, in her heart, she's telling me, so-and-so got to get this, and so-and-so got to get this, and this one get this house, and that one get this house. And I wish she would have used this money to enjoy. But this is what she feels. She's like holding on to every single cent so she can pass it down to us. Like, we don't need your money, to be honest with you. I'd rather you live your life. So I'm saying all that to say quality of life. Enjoy your life. People that are working from home, enjoy it. Whatever you can do to make it ends meet. And I know we're in this earn your leisure, and people are trying to, the all of the podcasts and all of the ways to make money and the Airbnbs and this and that and third. And are people living their life, or are you working toward it? At least.
Correct.
You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So although I work very hard, but the goal is, the goal of trucking right now is to be able to run the business from my cell phone and be home. Wake up whenever I feel like it, talk to who I got to talk to, send my email, send my text. And when the fellas say, listen, we need to meet in wherever, it's Tuesday, I want to be able to just pack up. The business goes with me because the phone goes with me, and live. And I think that's quality. Spending with my family and my friends. Justin calls, I need to see you, bro. I'm in Atlanta in 6 hours. Never has been a question. And most can't do that. I think that's quality. You get what I'm saying? My mother says, oh, the fish tank needs to be cleaned. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm in California. Most people cannot do that. I ain't booked my flight yet. I'm going to pick up and I'm going to go. To me, that's quality, Being able to spend time with your family and friends. I'm a family friend sort of person. I love my friends. I'm very touchy-feely. I hug all my friends.
Boy, when this boy is lit, he'll move you with one hand onto the desk.
It's funny. And most of my friends, Josh, Justin, they're not touchy-feely persons, but that's their business.
Correct.
You decided to be my best friend. Whether you want to be touchy or feely or not, if I want to hug, we hugging.
Right.
I'm big enough to grab you and we're gonna hug. Just because, you know what I'm saying? And you've experienced this.
Yes, I have. Yes.
So, again, it's quality of life. That's what I'm talking. That's my message to you guys. Make sure you are living your best and you are working toward your best quality of life, because once it's over, once you get in that box, I promise you ain't getting out. There ain't no do-overs. Ain't no, okay, I was just playing. Yeah,
right.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? It's over. So I got a personal goal. I know I got 54 seconds. I got a personal goal to live to 100. That's my goal. And I've been saying it, and I'm doing what I can. I eat right. I go to the gym. I've been a little stressed these last 3 months. However, I'm going back home. When I get home, I got some edibles there waiting for me. I got some Hennessy waiting for me. I got the VSOP waiting for me. And I'm not doing nothing for the next. I got the drivers. They all set up. Do me a favor. Don't call my phone because I'm not going to answer. You can call. I don't want you to give up. Right. That's the thing that's going on. Right? You can call. I'm not going to answer today. I won't answer tomorrow. But just call. I want you to be a quitter. But I appreciate you for allowing me to jump on your, your podcast. Brother. I appreciate you guys for hosting. It has been an honor. It has been a privilege. And I appreciate you for remembering every aspect of it.
Yes, sir.
Can I go over? Or
you could do what you want.
Yeah. So, just to speak light on that. I got a little bit more to say. Just to speak light, I feel like not only has the industry helped my success, I feel like you and also Elito, you guys have helped mold from me watching from a distance, some of the things before I even got to really meet you as a person. I've learned a lot, and a lot of it was my competitiveness. Like, those guys are over there, well, then me too. Honestly, that's really, and I feel like as men, not against the ladies, but as men, we are competitive people. So we should, and you guys are too, but we should put one foot forward. When we see our comrades and our friends winning, you should take their energy and don't wish that they lose, wish that you can win too. So I saw what you guys have done, and I've watched what you guys have done, and that has been some of my entrepreneur success has come through you and watching your energy and how you move and how you talk and all those kind of things. And, you know, in the very beginning, I was like, man, I would like to talk like you. But after I got, you know, I matured some and I read more, I realized, listen, you in your space, I'm in my space, you know, and I use what I had for my best of my abilities, you know. Exactly. But I appreciate you 100%, and I have even spoken about it. I read my first book because of you, and had I not, who knows where I would have been because of it. You know, I remember I was in Paris on a dream trip, I forget, but I was reading the first year of network marketing on a bullet train in Paris because of our competition at Epcot. I think it was Epcot.
It was at Epcot. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so, you know, such a full circle, you know, that has come, and a lot of things in my life has come because of a full circle. So I'm forever indebted to you because of that. Because who knows how the cookie would have crumbled had not, but I think it was fate. I needed to hear what you said in order for me to be who I am today. So appreciate it. Appreciate the love.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Masud Dorsett, and that's a fucking episode. Jesus, that was fucking good, bro. Incredible.